Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about how to have a good standing posture for playing the violin and also how to breathe well. And through this explanation I hope you'll learn how connected just your posture and your breath are. So the first main thing to do is feel that you're standing in a way where you can really feel your legs are pushing against the ground and not locked. And so basically, you'll feel these muscles engage as your legs press against the ground. You'll notice as soon as you lock your legs, these muscles will not engage anymore as much, and also your lower back will suddenly become quite pinched and tight, and also your breath will become shallow. Like I just felt like I was suffocating myself a little bit doing that. Place your hands right above your hip bones, and the top of your hands can be on your lower ribs. So that place where your torso kind of grooves inwards, that's where I want you to put your hands. Thumbs are just going around your body, your back. And so your fingers to your thumb, you're contacting your body. Then as you breathe in, feel how the air can move into your hands. As you breathe out, it'll move away from your hands. So you breathe in. You feel how it will expand in all directions. It'll expand into your belly, which is into your first four fingers. It'll also expand into your palms, which is into your side body. And also, you'll feel it expand into your thumbs, into your lower back. So it's important to feel this air expanding in all directions. So keep a slight bend in your legs while you do this. That'll allow this flexibility in the hips. Also, try moving your hips in circles either way. That's a good way to also feel this way of standing that'll help you breathe well. Now, once you've found this breath, this very diaphragmatic breath, feeling lower before you feel higher, not really moving into your chest much. And your breath can be slower than it is for me. I'm just making my breath fast so I can keep talking to you. And now, just try locking your legs like you might sometimes do again. And feel how hard it is to bring breath into this low area. It should feel very unsatisfying after the last one. It shouldn't feel very good. Also notice how now your back is just all tight. Also try moving your hips around with these locked legs. You'll notice just everything is tightened up in this area. And now it's just so much nicer if your legs are not locked. So if you can't find that, keeping your legs generally straight, you can try actually bending them quite a bit. And then here you should be able to feel, you can move the hips around again, any direction. Just feel that this area is loose. And then if that area is loose, the breath will be able to expand down here. You'll notice if you haven't done this a lot, just normal standing like this, your legs will feel like they're working a lot. Through here, also your calves will be working, pressing the feet into the ground a little bit. You can still have some of your weight on your heels, just that mechanism of putting energy into the ground. That's what's going to shoot your spine up. And the top of your spine is up here. If you bring your hands to your ears and just make a line backwards, you should be able to find that point to the top of your spine. And one reason for standing like this, where you're putting energy in the ground, is it'll help you feel your entire spine lengthen up towards the sky. And if you have your spine lengthening upwards, you have this area free to breathe in and out, then it'll be very easy to keep your arms and shoulders relaxing down. A lot of people that have tension in their shoulders, face, this whole upper area, they don't realize often the tension starts down here, just from what their legs and hips are doing. Because if anywhere is tight down here and your breath can't expand down here, there's really no way to stay relaxed. And any great violin player, no matter what they think they're doing, they are breathing well down here. You cannot be that relaxed, and your body cannot function that well if this area is tight. So with that in mind, just stay here. Your legs might even start shaking a little bit. When I first learned how to stand in a way that's good for my body and my breath, my legs would eventually start shaking like this because they're not used to working that way. So if you haven't been standing like this and your legs are working and you feel them working, that's probably a good sign. That means you're doing it well. And always you can bring your hands back to check if you are standing in a way that helps you breathe well. So now once you have this, you can pick up your violin. And if you have this basically right, it's pretty easy to bring the violin up and feel a similar way. One thing to keep in mind is the violin's weight is going out this direction. So that your body will have to feel a little bit different than just standing once you have the violin. What most violinists do is they feel, because the violin is sticking out more their left side, they feel a little bit more weight on their left foot. But the most fundamental thing is still make sure the legs aren't locked. Make sure that there's slight bend in that knee so that your hips are free and your breath is full. So you can feel a little bit more of that support to the left leg. Some people like to prop the right leg out a little bit, kind of like a kickstand, so you feel more support. Because if you're just standing like this, you're not, if you have all this motion out here, you might start to feel out of balance. So generally when you play violin, your feet will be a little bit wider than what you would just normally stand with. So you put the violin up, you get a little bit wider stance just so it can deal with this motion. Then something you can just experiment with, I'll put my violin down for a moment, is when you are standing the right way and then you start moving your arm in a violin way, let's say move your arm really fast side to side, like that, you'll notice how much the core will have to engage to do that. It'll be very natural. And that will help show you just how much the core is involved in violin playing. A lot of times, if people try to have stability, but they don't have stability from here, through their legs and their core, their shoulders will get tighter because they're trying to have some stability somewhere. So the more you can get this stability from lower, the arms can be very free. So I just recommend that for getting the feeling of how the core works when you do move your arm like you're moving the bow. Then once the violin goes up, you're pressing in the ground now, not just to lengthen up your spine like before. You can allow your head actually to rest against the instrument. And now that energy into the ground is what's helping you to lift up the violin. And most people, they lift up some here with their collarbone and also some with their left hand. Different people have kind of different ratios of how much they hold those two places. But what's in common is your body is energizing, pushing into the ground, and that energy is what's bringing the violin up, whether it's through your arm or your collarbone. Everything from lower down is helping to bring that instrument and keep it up. And if that's how your posture is, how you're standing, it'll be very very easy for the bow to just release into the instrument. So that's basically posture. And as I mentioned, the core, your core will be very involved in feeling how lifting the instrument connects to the bow going down into the instrument. When you have that connection, you'll be able to just feel your arm releasing into the instrument while your body works to pick the instrument up into the bow. So, yeah, and then one more thing I want to mention, how the core is involved. Once you start moving the bow more fast, that's when you'll notice the core has to become a little bit more involved to give stability to your body as you're doing that. And that stability from the core will allow the arm to be very free and your shoulder to stay relaxed. So everyone has a little bit different opinions on exactly where to place the feet under the instrument, or whether to go forward or backwards. But I really think if you do the main things right, which is to stand in a way where your hips can really move freely around, where you can breathe, expanding in all directions in this area, and you can feel that energy pressing against the ground is lengthening your spine upwards. If you do all those things, you can find something that works for you with how you balance once the instrument's up, putting more weight, let's say, to your left leg, and also how wide to stand. But always remember, most important thing is that your legs are in a way where hips are loose, flexible, and breath can expand low. So I hope this video helps. I think this combination of standing well and breathing well is the most important thing for having good function on the violin. A lot of the time, if you're just naturally tight, like I used to be, just learning to breathe well and stand well, everything in your violin playing you can think of will become much easier, more natural, and sound better. So, thank you for watching. I hope this helps.